Be advised, the opinions and views of the hosts and guests do not reflect those of the station.
Good morning, I'm Deanne Hernandez. Welcome to the Thursday Business Portal. This is your program, Pinoy Matters, and here we are to discuss business opportunities and Filipino innovations. This morning, I'm very proud to have as my guest Undersecretary Fortunato Boy de la Pena of the DOST, the Department of Science and Technology. He was one of the founders of the Filipino Innovation Program and will be here to discuss with you in the next hour how you, our GNN subscribers of Destiny Cable, can take part of this wonderful world of Filipino innovations. Welcome, Yusek Boy.
Good morning. Good morning to everyone. I would like to greet all our viewers and I hope we will have a very productive hour.
Well, okay, Boy, let's start with the story. You were already with DOST when you thought of founding this Filipino Innovations?
Yes, actually in 2005 I was invited to attend the International Innovation Conference in Bangkok, Thailand.
Okay.
And that was where we had this idea of having an innovation program.
Strategy. Yeah.
And I wish to credit also our partners here, particularly IBM Philippines and the Asian Institute of Management Intellectual Property Office, the ALA Foundation, as the very first ones who initiated the holding of a National Innovation Summit. We were joined.
They were the core group that made it happen.
Group, yes,
yeah.
and we were joined by around 15 other institutions, which later, when we finished the summit and we had our strategies presented to the public, when I said we will disband because the summit is over, then they insisted that we should have something continuing, and this is in the form of the Philippine Innovation Network.
So can we honestly say, Yusek Boy, that you are the godfather now to sustain this program?
Actually, we are drawing our strength from, from Secretary Alabastro, who heads the Department of Science and Technology, and those institutions I mentioned, but I sort of shepherd the network at the moment.
Okay, so Yusek Boy is our good shepherd, okay? Just to give you a backgrounder, I was privileged to be the consultant of Senator Magsaysay at the time that I was representing him in the Human Resource Committee of the precursor of the Commission of ICT, or Information Communications Technology, way back in 2001. And under the leadership of Gus Lagman, our chair and co-chair, Tina Padolina, who's now president of Central Escolar University, we found out that one of the reasons why the Filipino talent is wanting to be very globally competitive is that we were very wanting in math, English, but more importantly, science skills. Yusek Boy, can you tell our audience how did this happen, what it is all about, and how can we fortify our country as a source of good scientists?
Yes, first of all, I think number one, the teachers, those who are training for teachers, probably they are not very much attracted to take science and mathematics.
Why so?
As
is it the Filipino psyche? Is it the influence of the parents at home that scientists pang mga European Caucasians lang yan. Ang mga Pilipino hindi scientific.
Probably, but there is also that attitude of path of least resistance. If you can get a degree and get employed as a teacher, teaching something else, why go through science and mathematics, which are considered to be difficult courses? And there is really some parang phobia on the part of
Hindi ba magaling
some
sa
people.
math ang mga Filipino? Math and science?
Yes, but sometimes, yung particularly those who go into the profession of teaching, probably they think that it will be easier if they go through something else other than science and math. But we definitely are we are good in science and mathematics, but I think the training that is being provided is really lacking because the trainers are not well trained.
So first option is to start making our teachers feel excited about teaching science?
Yes.
Okay.
Make teaching science and math something that is exciting and attractive to people. We are happy to mention that at least in the schools that we are managing, the Philippine Science High School system, you can see young men and women there who I think could even get higher pay if they work outside in industry, who are there teaching science and math, and they should multiply this kind of people who are really devoted to this particular subject should multiply, and this is the reason why in Filipinnovation one of our strategies is changing the mindset. I will tell you, at one time I was in an elementary school in Hagonoy, Bulacan. We were there to inaugurate a rain harvesting system, which we assisted. It was the product of one of our inventors, Dr. Tony Mateo. And this school is suffering from water shortage because they are, well, ironically, always submerged in flood. Okay?
So much water, but in the wrong place.
But in the wrong place, And we introduced this rainwater harvesting system. And during the ceremony, of course, my audience were a few teachers, but mostly, the young people, young students. And I was telling myself, what kind of speech will I give to these young people? And
to motivate them.
Other than thanking those who made the project a success, I decided to approach I think 12 young people in front of me. They were grade 6 students, and I asked all of them, all of these people in front, what they would like to be. And I do not remember the statistics exactly, but probably about 4 of them said they wanted to be a chef.
A chef.
A chef.
Okay.
Maybe I said because of what they see on television, and about
it's a glamorous career.
It's a glamorous
it
career.
It pays $6,000.
Yes. In addition, there were probably 3 of them who said they want to be bartenders. Okay. And then, of course, there were those who, understandably, about 4 of them who want to be nurses. And this is where what you said is, I guess, very relevant. Parents are the ones dictating what what the children will take. And then, fortunately, I got, I think, one who wanted to be an engineer, and one who wanted to be a teacher, and one who wanted to be a doctor. But you see the distribution. I guess the mindset of our young has to be somehow influenced by some kind of
redirected.
Redirected.
Yes.
And somebody was telling me maybe you should direct your efforts to the parents because they are the ones who are really...
Yeah, we have to do a selling job to the parents.
Yes.
Yusek Boy, I have a goddaughter. Her name is Jenny Lorenzo. She came from a Philippine Science High School. Okay, how many of that do we have?
Well, we now have 11 campuses. By law, we can set up one Philippine Science campus per region.
Per region, hindi per city.
Hindi
Ilan
per
bang
city.
region?
There are 16 regions
Okay.
all over the country, and we have now set up 11. The latest ones are the campuses in Clark, which represents the campus for the Central Luzon region, and the other one is the campus in Baguio, which represents the campus for the Cordillera. And in June of 2011, not this year, but next year, we will be having the campus in Lopez, Quezon for the Calabarzon area, and one in Zamboanga del Norte. So that will make 13.
So 3 more to go.
3 more to go.
Well, GNN subscribers, we have a lot of cable partners in the provinces. Watch out for those 13 regions. Going back to Jenny as our success story model, you know, she got a scholarship from Ateneo, and she's now working as a physicist. Okay, mahirap ba maging scholar ng Philippine Science or Science High Schools?
Yes, because it is very competitive.
Okay.
There are so many people wanting to get in, and of course we have only
A few
slots. Like in the main campus, we have 240 slots a year, and in most of the campuses, they have probably 90 or thereabouts. Because the other campuses are
and they
smaller.
take qualifying tests.
They take the same kind of exam all over the country, and of course before we had two stages of screening, but now they have unified the exam into.
But
into
when they
one.
do get in, USEC Boy, that's scholarship. They don't have to pay for anything.
Yes, they don't pay for tuition, and depending on their parents' income, they will receive. All of them will receive a monthly allowance, even the rich ones.
Oh, okay.
but because this is stated in the law.
Okay. Maybe to give also an idea for our parents, as you said, we have to pitch to the parents. What kind of quality indicators, personality-wise, habit-wise, do we watch out for a potential scientist?
Well, basically, it's really the performance in mathematics and science courses. I'm not very familiar about studies on personality, but it's really the indicator. I remember when we were...
So, dapat mahilig sa math.
Yes, because when we
Okay.
were young students at UP, this was way back in 1964, before we don't enter straight into our colleges, we go through what we call the university college, where all the students will go for the first 2 years. And then after 2 years, you apply to the professional college where you
To
want to
see
go.
whether you have the mathematical
Yeah.
inclinations.
And I remember we had a very simple result of a statistical study. I cut off, the passing grade is 3 and the failing grade is 5. Okay, the highest is 1. If you get an average of 3.4 in mathematics and physics and chemistry, hindi ka natatanggap. You will not be admitted anymore because they have studied that your chances to graduate is less than 5%.
I see. Now, but I know, magaling naman ang mga Pilipino mag-count, mag-add, mag-subtract, mag-divide, okay? But what do you think could increase the interest of young children, maybe even at kindergarten, grade school level, to be more serious in mathematical development?
Well, I guess it is all interrelated to the level of development of the country and the level of economic activity and the kind of economic activity that we have. If you will look around, most of the investors that
as vis-a-vis inventors.
most of the investors that we have here in technology-based companies are foreign companies. These are the multinationals. Whether you talk of Intel, whether you talk of IBM, but try to identify which are the technology-based companies owned by Filipinos, and you will have a hard time identifying.
I see.
You know, the Filipino capitalists and investors are still, I believe, in the level of trading, real property development, and
really
malls,
real property development. Interesting.
Use this land development and condominiums and malls. This is where the taipans and all the rich people are putting their money. But try to count how many are investing in technology-based enterprises, particularly the big ones, and you'll find a hard time. So we are trying to inculcate technology-based entrepreneurship. It might take a long time, but hopefully this is going to be the key to attracting young people in science and technology types of careers.
You said, boy, let's go back in time, okay? I'm very proud, and I mentioned this to Mr. Buddy Melchor, and also Miss Barcelem of Ayala. The Filipino was the one who invented the fluorescent light. His surname is Flores, kaya fluorescent light. No investor in the Philippines wanted to take him on, so he had to bring it out, and I don't know if it was General Electric or a European firm. If, let's say, that inventor were here today, what advice, now that we have Filipino innovations, what step should an inventor take to be able to incubate, to find an investor, and probably get his discovery, whether it's a process or a product, finally out in the commercial market?
Well, the advice is this: if he intends to do the entrepreneurship work himself, then he has to understand entrepreneurship and business.
Okay, you go to AIM, Professor Poch Bacalanas.
Or to the Small Scale Industries
Foundation.
Institute. But if you are amenable to, let's say, taking in a partner or a capitalist to put invest money in your product, then maybe that is where groups like our Philippine Innovation can help. We can connect you to the venture capitalists or the business angels. You know, these things.
What is a business angel? That's a new term for our GNN subscribers. Ano kaya yung business angel?
These are people who have the money looking for investments, and they want to put their investments in startup companies of people. You know, if you have money and you want to invest, you either go to a investment house or you look for these startup companies, and the so-called business angels are looking for good opportunities where they can put in their money.
Yusek Boy, you know, sometimes it's very difficult for our audience to appreciate what we're talking about. Could you give us real 2010 examples of scientists, innovators? You know, let's tell them a real story of actual people.
Okay, yes. Maybe I just would like to mention one which is, well, who is a Filipino, who is based abroad, okay? And one who is based here, okay? So, the most recent Harvard alumni awardee is a Filipino scientist by the name of Dr. Baldomero Oliveira. He finished his chemistry degree in UP, and he summa cum laude and went abroad for his graduate work. Unfortunately, after coming back and working at the UP College of Medicine, teaching, he found an opportunity to go abroad, and he became an academic and a researcher, and he is known for his researches on the conus or the snails. Okay,
snails. I heard about what happened to the golden snail story.
These are the snails who can kill you. You know,
this is not the snails that you eat.
No. These are the snails that when they pierce the fish, the fish will either be how do you call it?
Dead?
Dead, or they will be sort of in a state of shock.
Okay. And what happens? And so why is that good or not good?
They collected these shells, and some of the studies were done here, and others were done in the US, and they found out that they emit toxic substances that can put the fish in that kind of state, either dead or some kind of shock.
Okay.
And through studies, they were able to conclude that the materials that they have, through scientific studies, can be an alternative to substances like morphine or anesthesia. And so they developed it, and they had it patented But I think in the end, they were offered a good amount for the intellectual property,
And is a pharma now producing?
They sold it,
that?
and the benefits that the buyer got was many multiples over what they paid to the scientists. Now,
Dapat ata, Yusek, merong royalty clause yan, parang sa musical composition, no?
Well, maybe, but I really don't know the details. Now, one of the partners of Dr. Baldomero Olivera is a Filipina by the name of Lourdes Cruz, Luli Cruz, who decided to stay here to do her research, and eventually settled at the Marine Science Institute of the University of the Philippines. So
where's that based?
Here in Diliman.
Okay.
So she and Dr. Baldomero Olivera collaborated. Dr. Olivera came here regularly, and Dr. Luli Cruz went to Ohio.
Would you know, Yusek Boy, what variety of snails? Because I know there was the golden kuhol, which is edible, and you see the ordinary snail, the brown one that crawls all over.
This is not the snail that you commonly see in your plants. Okay, these are the snails you found in the sea, which is conus. Okay, it's like a cone. It's like an ice cream cone.
So you find we have the second largest beach shoreline in the world. Marami tayong mahahanap na ganon.
Definitely. Our land area is 86% water, so we are very rich in marine resources. Dr. Luli Cruz was most recently named national scientist, and to top it all, was named one of the 5 L'Oreal awardees for International Women of Science.
Is there any way, Yusek Boy, that our people in the shoreline, that if they find that snail species, can connect with Luli Cruz and maybe find a way to supply the company that bought the technology so that we can have a industry ongoing here?
There is a continuing study now with an all-Filipino group that the DOST is funding for what this is really what we call a project called Pharmacies. Pharma, as in pharma, and SEAS, S-E-A-S. Pharma.
S-E-A-S.
SEAS, okay? And this is a big program that we are supporting, involving many units at the University of the Philippines, including the Marine Science Institute, where they are trying to look for all sorts of species under the sea that will have pharmaceutical value.
Oh, because I remember we developed carrageenan, and there are several companies in Mindanao and Cebu who are in this industry. But one of our herbal friends have started the sea creature supplement, sea urchins, seaweeds, and all this. So, do you see a promise along those lines?
As I said, we are 86% water, our territory, and therefore there's so many resources, whether living or non-living, under the sea. We have not yet started the search for these non-living resources, because there are many.
Yusek Boy, if our audience wants to inquire and do OST, they call you up at your offices, or do you have a department that will attend to them if they want to develop marine scientific processes?
Yes, we have a council called the Philippine Council for Aquatic and Marine Research and Development,
and that is under
our office at DOST. But there is also a lot of activity going on at the Marine Science Institute, at the UP, Diliman, and also in our University of the Philippines in the Visayas.
Only in the Visayas, none in Mindanao, or are you present in any of the 16 regions you
Yes, we are present, but but I was only referring to the researches which are related to aquaculture and marine. But we have presence in all 16 regions. We have regional offices and we have provincial offices.
Can you share with us, is CIFDEC under that program?
No, CIFDEC is actually a regional organization Okay, so the Philippines is part of the Southeast Asian Ministers of Education Organization, and CIFDEC, together with SHARCA, together
What
with
is SHARCA?
SHARCA.
They might not be familiar with our jargon or acronym.
CIFDEC is on fisheries. Okay, so the F there is fisheries.
All right.
SHARCA is agriculture.
Okay, take note, our dear Destiny Cable GNN subscribers.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there are other Southeast Asian organizations like in Thailand or in other countries, but these are the two well-known, including the Inotech, which is the third one, which are based in the Philippines. CIFDEC, therefore, is not considered as a national government office.
Okay, it's more international.
It's regional. But we also
more
contribute.
ASEAN.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Southeast Asia.
But going back, no, let's say I belong to a fisherman cooperative, or I live in a shoreline city or town, and we have some processes and products and services to offer DOST. How do they go about reaching you or Dr. Luli Cruz in
well,
UP?
the first step really is to connect to the provincial director of DOST in the province.
And there are 13. You are in 13 or 16 regions?
16 regions.
Okay.
But we have a provincial officer in every province. Okay.
So there are 80 provinces?
80 plus.
80 plus provinces.
Including the
hanapin niyo po yung regional director ng Department of Science and Technology.
Usually they are located in the capital city of that area.
The Capitolio.
Capitolio in that area, or in the state university closest to the Capitolio.
Okay.
And then depending on what is the interest of the group, like are you a group of fishermen that are involved with seaweed production? Then we can help you by way of introducing new genetic materials or some other technologies that will increase your yield. Are you a group of neighborhood fishermen who this time would like to engage in aquaculture, meaning to say you are not satisfied going out to the sea anymore,
you want to go
and
fish
you want
pond,
to culture. You want
to
to culture. So
yes.
maybe we can help you either through this cage technologies where we can already raise.
So you can teach this through your regions?
Through our regional
bayad
offices.
Po ba yung training?
The training usually we can do that at our expense. Okay.
Okay. Libre po ang training. You just have to arrange.
But you have to arrange. But if you are a big time operator and you know, there are
iba
also
naman.
Iba naman ang arrangement doon.
Okay.
Or if you are just a group of neighborhood group who want to have quick livelihood income, maybe in your area, maybe we can teach you and even help you in this crab fattening programs. No? So para ka lang nag-aalaga ng baboy, pero this time it's crabs, no? And income can be generated.
Yusek Boy, I have a follow-up question on that, because there was a time in the Visayas, I know, in fact, the owner of Solid House, Elena Lim, she was in black prawn production.
Yes.
And I heard from Michi Barcelon or from one of our other guests in Filipino Innovations na yung virus or bacteria na up to now parang hindi pa naaalis sa Philippines. That's why we're never able to, or we're not yet able to get back to the prawn production that we used to enjoy.
Yeah, actually, we were the one who sort of pioneered in this prawn production.
Exactly, because the Japanese just love our prawn production. Ang mahal-mahal ng shrimp doon for their tempura.
Sometimes it goes back to certain practices, like there are places where the water quality has deteriorated so much because
or kulang sa oxygenation.
Kulang sa oxygen. Okay. So yung mga ganyan. So sometimes you can just install some gadgets and you'll have it. I remember we had a good conversation with a former congressman from Ilocos, Salaknib Baterina, when we went to the Philippine Science High School there, which he shall we say, fathered
Okay.
in San Ildefonso.
He's sired.
He's sired, you know?
Okay.
And, you know, he's now out of politics, and he has devoted his time working out innovations, you know. He came up with innovations, for example, on how to easily propagate coconut in such an arid place like the Ilocos.
Okay.
He developed some innovation on, you know, coming out with parang a boat that has other uses, particularly in operating these ponds, no?
Okay. For pond surfing.
Hindi, but it's also used, as you said, to have the oxygen
the aeration,
requirements, the
yes.
aeration. And at the same time, he can use it as a boat. But there are many, the innovations. This is what we are trying to say. You know, the title I suggested is From Grassroots to Global.
I see. So you really don't have to
be a
an Einstein scientist
to
introduce
invent innovations.
Yes.
That is what we are trying to say.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, and more recently, at the Ateneo School of Governance was able to get a grant from the International Research Development Center of Canada. In fact, I was made the advisor there, and this is exactly what they documented. They tried to document all the so-called grassroots innovation coming from ordinary people who were able to help their respective communities.
Well, you
so
said,
next time, maybe we should invite them.
Well, we are now coming to our halftime for the show, but do stay with us. Don't change that channel, because we'll be talking about grassroots. We talked about the example of someone from Harvard. We will now talk about good news stories of how grassroots scientists, innovators, Yusek Boy will share with us real stories, real juicy stories. So we'll be back in 1 minute or so. I'm Deanne Hernandez, your host for Pinoy Matters. Do stay with us, and we'll be sharing with you great stories about how ordinary Filipinos do exceptional scientific innovations when we come back. Thank you.
Our taxes pave roads, build bridges, improve lives and communities, educate our children, and build our future.
Your taxes go a long way. As Filipinos, paying taxes is a necessary part of our duty to our nation.
From the millions of genes that serve as life-building blocks, to the thousands of plants and animals that inhabit the earth, to the almost limitless combinations that make up the natural ecosystems, biodiversity is essential to feed, clothe, shelter, and heal our world. But humans have mismanaged and abused biodiversity resources, resulting in hunger, sickness, famine, death. In Southeast Asia, 500 million lives will be at risk if biodiversity loss is left unchecked now. Biodiversity loss is irreversible. If you save biodiversity, you save me. Conserve biodiversity and save humanity now. Learn more about biodiversity. Click www.aseanbiodiversity.org.
Two Filipinos who raised the Philippines banner proudly before the world. Two Filipinos whose names resound at the pinnacle of their respective fields. One was proclaimed a global hero for his compassion and determination to bring basic education to street children, giving them a way out of poverty, while the other showcased Filipino musical genius to the world. They are CNN hero and educator, Pena Florida.
You are the change that you dream, as I am the change that I dream. And collectively, we are the change that this world needs to be. Mabuhay!
Pineda, lead vocalist of the international band Journey.
He told me, so you are auditioning for the Journey? Wheel in the sky keeps on turning. It's like, okay, I'm convinced. Okay, go to the...
We're lost in one sweet embrace. Since those days the world has...
They overcame enormous challenges, hardships, and even failures before achieving victory and success. These two amazing Filipinos are featured in special reports. In-depth, moving, comprehensive, insightful. Watch their life stories and find hope, courage, and inspiration. This is Philippine Biography, Mondays through Fridays, 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. Join us as we discover the best in every Filipino, the best in all of us.
Peace advocates for the holistic concept of peace. You don't just talk about the absence of war, the violence, but you are also talking about the presence of the positive conditions. You are promoting understanding, love, care for other people.
Peace Tech is not just all talk, so we also want to have concrete results in action. So on the action part, this component is headed by our youth movement called the Peace Tech Embassy.
Peace Tech Embassy is one way we can sustain what we are learning today in our homes, communities, schools.
Peace Tech Embassy is an organization of the different ambassadors from different parts of the country. The purpose of it is to unite the different ambassadors to launch different projects that would benefit the youth and would answer different issues such as poverty, war, discrimination, prejudice, and all other issues.
You too can join peace projects or give workshops on peace building.
Peace Tech Embassy also has various workshops and trainings they conduct in different localities. We also reach out to different indigenous peoples in different parts of the country.
Or you can join our online community and reach out to youth all over Asia.
When communication occurs, that's when understanding is developed. That's when you begin to learn about the other's perspective, and although you might not necessarily agree with them, you'd be able to exchange your ideas and eventually come to a win-win situation.
Peace Tech Embassy is about action. We are showing the world that we can, and so can you.
By applying what I've learned in Peace Tech, I hope that I'll be able to change their consciousness, be able to change their beliefs.
You can make a difference.
I'm Joshua, an Eagle Scout and a Peace Tech Ambassador.
I'm Epi, a teacher and a Peace Tech Ambassador.
Ko si Feby, taga Negros Oriental, Peace Tech Ambassador.
I am Zabra, a Muslim and a Peace Tech Ambassador.
We're from Yahoo Southeast Asia, and here's a quick video guide to the first automated elections in the country. PCOS, or PCOS, stands for Precinct Count Optical Scan. It is the machine placed in each precinct during the elections. An election officer operates the PCOS machine using an electronic key. Once the machine is on, it will ask for a username and password. Before you can vote, an election officer needs to verify your identity. Once that's done, you will be given a special ballot and a marker that you will use to shade ovals near a candidate's name. Word of warning: be careful when shading the ballot. Each voter is entitled to one ballot only. Make sure you get it right the first time. So it's best to have a list of the candidates that you want. Then, go over it carefully. Then shade the ovals near the candidate's name of choice. The special ballot contains a list of all the names of the candidates, from the president down to the local councilors. You can see an oval next to each name. You only need to shade these ovals. No need to write names. Shade the oval completely. By this we mean, the counting machine will not accept any other markings like a check, an X, a dot, or an incomplete shading. The machine will reject those markings and will not count it. Word of warning: don't overvote. The machine will not count those votes. If you vote for 2 presidents, for example, your vote for that specific contest will be rejected, but not the entire ballot. For positions where a voter is allowed to choose more than one candidate, a voter can undervote. For example, if you choose to fill up the 8 slots for the 12 senatorial spots, then your votes are counted. So again, keep a list of all your chosen candidates. Use that as a guide when you vote on election day. You don't want to forget your candidates on election day. When you're done voting, bring your ballot to the election officer, who will ask you to insert it in the PCOS machine. Remember, you will be the one feeding the ballot into the machine and not the election officer. As this happens, the small screen in the machine will show the number of ballots fed or casted. Once the election day is over, the election officer will print the election results using the machine's thermal printer. The election results will show the votes casted. Copies of this can be given to poll watchdogs and other parties accredited by the COMELEC. The results are then electronically sent to the Municipal or City Board of Canvassers, then the Provincial Board of Canvassers, and the National Board of Canvassers. At the same time, those same results are sent to a secure system that will now allow COMELEC to publish advance results on a secured public website. Results are also sent to accredited third parties like the official Citizens Arm and Media Umbrella organization.
I'm Dean Hernandez, back here with Undersecretary Fortunato de la Pena of the Department of Science and Technology. Earlier, we were talking about one of our examples of innovative scientist, Dr. Baldomero Oliveira, who was able to discover a species of snails that would secrete a venom type of substance that puts fish into a state where they can feel no pain. And I understand that this technology has been bought and the buyer of the technology has commercialized it as a parang morphine, no? Substitute, which is very good for humanity. So now, Yusek Boy, how do we now bring this success story back home? How do we develop more Filipinos who are here in the country and encourage them to take the same route?
Well, first of all, we of course would like to encourage our scientists and researchers to work on problem areas where there is really a need, you know,
to be addressed.
Yeah, to be addressed. Of course, there are researches that are so-called basic in nature, that wherein you have to discover new knowledge. But basically, part of our resources for research should be addressing pressing needs. You know, and this is where I think the innovation should be directed to. We have all sorts of pressing needs for food, for shelter, for water, for clothing, all the basic commodities, for energy, and I think this is where the Filipino genius, you know, for innovation should be directed to. And along this line, we also would like to emphasize that in many instances, there are innovations that are brought up by ordinary people, not necessarily trained to be scientists or researchers, which can bring about benefits to people.
Actually, Yusek, I would call that, di ba, maabilidad ng mga Pilipino?
Yes,
You just look for a situation that needs resolution or doing it better, faster, easier. And then you think of a way kung paano how you can propose an innovation that will change the process.
Oh, yes.
Diba?
Yes. In fact, before I go maybe into more serious products, or just take a look at our street food, no?
Okay.
To me, these are innovations, you know. When I was small, I did not see
street vendors,
this kind of food. No? Nowadays, you see all sorts of street food that are very easy to to cook.
Actually, naka-plastic na for the workers, you know, who did not cook their lunch box.
Not only that, but when we were children, when we were young, you did not see all this, this Adidas or all of this food that you see, barbecue,
mga
kwek, you know. But now you have them, and in BOST, what we try to do is to try to make sure that the sanitary and safety conditions are being addressed. So at the Food and Nutrition Research Institute, we used to have a program. I hope they're still continuing addressing these street food vendors, so that even if they are in the street selling food, they can still maintain some level of sanitation and safety.
If I can build on that, a lot of the big businesses today, like I know my client is Cravings, no? Annie Guerrero and her daughter Baji Trinidad, who graduated from a culinary skill abroad, started with a table selling plain ensaymada, okay? Years ago in Loyola Heights, and now they have the Cravings group of companies, the Coffee Beanery, and they also have the Culinary Center of Asia, which produces our chefs for the leisure hotels and cruise ships around the world, where your salary could start at $6,000 US, okay? So these are humble beginnings of very regular, ordinary people or Filipinos who just started and grew from there, diba? And then now, nag-iba na nga Yusek Boy. Ngayon, meron na mga yogurts, marami ng variants ng ice cream or dirty ice cream as we learned it before. The Coconut House under June Castillo in Quezon City Circle uses virgin coconut oil and coconut skim milk for their ice cream of fruity cocoa. This is an innovation which is good for lactic intolerant Filipinos, diba? Yun.
Yeah, maybe I can cite other examples, but these are a long time ago. You know, when we started seeing in the markets this motorized, or how do you call it? This grating coconut. Using this motor
mechanized
grating, and then
instead of you make could manually.
And then,
okay.
somebody
yes.
from Tondo by the name of Mr. Almeida, he invented this, and he made, I think, a fortune out of it. Then he started introducing this automated grinding of ice for halo-halo, and then these were introduced. And you know, these are very, very Filipino innovations. You know,
in fact, Yusek Boy, there is this Filipino Inventors Society that I was privileged to address in one of their membership meetings. Ang dami nilang magagandang inventions.
Yes.
But I think the role and the help they need, Yusek Boy, is to link to Filipino innovations, link with DOST, for DOST to fortify whatever it is they have. Kasi very crude pa, no? Whatever they have, and whatever science and technology can prop up or strengthen their original version, that's where you come in.
Yes. Okay. So, but I would say that innovation is not only in the form of products or services. It can be in the form of an approach also. So I was
example.
Well, I just came from Mindoro yesterday. Okay, I decided to take a look at the projects DOST is assisting in Mindoro, and we were brought to a place very in Victoria. And it was actually some kind of a cooperative, no? So this was a group of 17 hog raisers. Okay. And they decided that since corn is abundant in Mindoro, they produce more than what they need in terms of corn. And since if they buy the feeds for their hogs, it will still come from Manila to Batangas, and the shipping, you know,
will raise
and
costs.
if the weather is bad,
it cannot cross the Batangas
channel. So they decided that they will put up their own feed production facility, and you know, we came in just to put in you know, some how do you call it, seed money for them to procure their equipment, you know, and they themselves are actually very resourceful. They know who to approach in the formulation, actually from UP Los Baños. They know who to approach when it comes to the enzymes that they need, and I was very happy to see that they were more or less self-sufficient because of that, and they are now selling their feeds to others.
So it has become a viable business venture simply because you also gave a little assist.
Yeah, well, actually, they already started. We just came in to upgrade the technology a little bit and to expand, to enable them to expand.
Talking about upgrading the Filipino mindset, would you care to share with our GNN viewers, how do we upgrade the Filipino scientific mindset?
Well, I think this is where these slides I prepared might help.
Do share it with our Destiny Cable.
This is the strategy, the fourth strategy that we have. It says they're upgrading the Filipino mindset. Filipino innovation means branding Filipino competitive innovation for sustainable development and global positioning. Okay, so that sounds high-tech, but really,
translate what Mang Juan would need.
Branding. We have to, you know, there are so many things that Filipinos have developed, and yet we have not been recognized. And so I think we should do some kind of branding. So, you know, something that a Filipino has done, we call it Filipinnovation. Okay. So now we believe that the role of multimedia, and that's the reason why I was very happy to come here, because I think media plays a very important role in highlighting the essence and benefits of innovation in society. Media is a social marketing tool. Okay, and we have to disseminate the benefits of innovation so that others will be inspired.
This is definitely more accessible than Facebook, Twitter, or Multiply. So love your own. Destiny Cable, Global News Network.
Right. I think we can continue showing. Okay. Well, in other aspects, the so-called intellectual property, the patenting and all this comes into play. And we believe that having a regime for intellectual property that balances incentives for innovators and the need to create benefits for the public is important. What do I mean by that? There may be innovations coming from our research laboratories, particularly government, that will benefit people. We have to sort out which among these have to be protected so that they will earn, and which of these should be for the benefit of the public.
General public.
Public. In other words, if somebody from the Department of Agriculture came up with some innovations, do they have to patent it and the farmers will buy the technology? I don't believe that should be so. It is for the general benefit of the public.
Well, we had a guest also from Philippine Innovations, Director Peralta of the IPO and the Director of Patents. And they're saying, love letters, insignias, written work, oral work, musical or art pieces can be registered and copyright protected. And you only have to go to DTI in your regional office and get this registered for a minimal fee. And then you can earn if anybody should use it. You are entitled to royalties to these things. Maybe Yusek Boy, at this time, you could explain to our viewers what kind of partner is the Department of Science and Technology to the Filipino nation? I mean, what can we expect from your agency?
So we generally categorize our work into four. The first one is generating new knowledge, and that is where our laboratories, our research institutes are spending time, money, and human effort to come up with new technologies. So for example, very recently we had this inventor who came up with the use of cocoa coir.
Cocoa coir, for mattresses or netting?
All sorts of uses. Netting, even for soil erosion control, and all of this. Now, but the machine to produce them, is needed. So
he made. You helped him?
We helped him. The Metals Industry Research and Development Center helped him. In other words, we generate new knowledge through research. If it's not done through our research institutes, we give grants. We give grants.
But to get that research request done, can an ordinary person, like me, for instance, I go to that agency of yours, will they entertain me?
Well, it depends. So a client who is, for example, an entrepreneur who wants a research done, can enter into agreement or partnership with the research institute.
Pwede mag-joint venture.
That's what
Walang money out. Kasi normally these people don't have money out.
The entrepreneurs have money.
All right.
But there are groups of people who don't have, and you just have to convince the research institute that it is a priority undertaking. Now, so we give grants also to the universities and
so there's funding to be had, but we just have to understand the process. Like an ordinary citizen simply has to inquire, are the DOST people friendly enough or mga scientific nerds na hindi sila sasagot sa phone?
No, that is really where we recommend initial contact first with the regional offices. Because these are ito yung kumbaga sa they are the general practitioner if you compare it to a doctor, and then they will refer you and they will try to negotiate with whoever
pero sana po naman yung SE hindi lang science pero service excellent din.
But we'll go to there. We will go to there. The second is the technology transfer. So not only generating knowledge but transferring technology and know-how to the sectors who need them. And when we talk of transferring technology, it's not only the technology we produce, it's also the technology that we can get from outside. It's also the technology generated by individuals or inventors, for example. And that is where our work in the regions are concentrated right now, how to transfer technology so that our small enterprises
can grow.
Okay, and I'm very proud to say that we are quite performing well, if I may say.
You
in that,
sick boy, I
aspect.
was in a 2-day workshop with the DOST charting the virgin coconut oil industry roadmap with Tess Santos, our president, and the group. I saw this magazine. Is this for sale? How do they get hold of any publication from the DOST?
Well, this is it comes in limited issue, okay, but it's not for sale. And
if they wanted a copy or
Okay.
to be the subscribers listing, whatever.
Siguro this is where the group of Toti Karandang can be
Toti
contacted.
Karandang. We will invite,
we invite
Director Toti Karandang. We just have a few minutes left, so Yusek Boy, I'll leave it to you. Maybe you could share what else or invite our Filipino citizens all over the world, not only GNN subscribers, on how they can make use of being a Filipino and working with this department at your service, the Department of Science and Technology.
Well, since I have been talking a lot about local activities, I would just like to focus on Filipinos who are working outside. Okay, so
our OFWs,
our expatriates.
Yes,
we now have a very strong program called the Balik Scientist Program.
Okay,
and,
balik ho kayo dito
this
sa
is where,
Pilipinas.
we do not expect them to resettle again here right away, but some have made that kind of decision. But first, we just invite them. If you can spend maybe a month, or even less than that, working on a particular problem, we even recommend that you work in the place where you came from.
Bumalik ka sa iyong
pinanggalingan.
Okay.
And usually that is the beginning of collaboration.
Give back.
That's the beginning of collaboration. We will spend for your travel. We will, The other one is, these OFWs. We have some success stories of OFWs who really learn new technologies abroad, and
share it with us.
Not only share, make money out of it. You come back and maybe put an investment to a company that utilizes the technology, and it
DOST will
help create wealth. As you said earlier when we were talking about, sometimes we focus too much on poverty and
the poverty consciousness when ang galing-galing ng Pilipino.
When the program is all entitled poverty, sometimes I get depressed.
Do not affirm.
And, so we try to change that. Creating wealth, is something that can be more motivating, of course.
Well, Yusek Boy, we've come to the end of our show. I'd really like to thank you for being the champion, for being the godfather for Filipino innovations. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a group of private and government trying to set a culture of innovation for the Filipino nation. And maybe at another time we will tackle the new law. What was that law that you mentioned?
The Philippine Technology Transfer Act.
Okay, which will now preserve and encourage people to do studies and to produce more innovative products and services. He has an e-library program, but we have run out of time to cover that. But I'd like to leave you with this thought, ladies and gentlemen. The Philippines is so rich with talent, globally competitive talent. You've seen that in our fluorescent lamps, in our Charis Pempencos of this world. There are a lot among our 90 million or so around the world and here in our country, budding scientists and innovators, and we encourage you to use the DOST and the Filipino Innovations program to advance yourselves. All you have to do is take a good idea, address a situation where you can propose a faster, better, more green solution maybe, and we'll take it from there. I'd like to thank Philip Chen, Harry Tambuatco, and Ike Señeres of the Global News Network, Destiny Cable, for allowing us to have the Pinoy Matters host the Filipino Innovations and Filipino Matters to bring to you the good news about what the Filipino can do and our global competitiveness when it comes to bringing new innovations into the world. I'm Deanne Hernandez. Until next Thursday, I'm your Pinoy Matters host. Keep smiling and God bless you all. Thank you.